Cadillac has just unveiled their new high-performance model, the V-Series Blackwing. Let's talk about this. My name is JUL TORQ. Welcome to the TORQ Army channel. So the new Blackwings are the pinnacle of performance for Cadillac. If you watch my reviews about the Ct4-V and also the Ct5v I drove previously this summer, those new V-Series are really toned down version compared to the previous model like the ATS-V and also the CTS-V. These were more powerful. The new ones are less powerful. So now we've got two versions of V-Series, two level of performance, I could say. We've got the V's and also the V Blackwing now. So the V-Series is going to compete against models like the S3 or the S4 at Audi, or if we're looking at BMW, something like the M340i. And if we're looking at the Blackwing version, these gonna really compete against the RS, the M5, or the big AMGs. So they're really the highest performance sedan you can get at Cadillac. I think it's a good idea to have two levels of performance for Cadillac now. You can really afford a cheaper V series, and also if you're on the ultra performance, you've got those Blackwings. Those Blackwings gonna be limited, you know, there's not gonna be a big number, at least for the first year. So if we're looking at the power of these new Blackwings, first of all, inside of the Ct5v Blackwing, we can find a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, good for 668 horsepower and 659 foot-pounds of torque. Yes, this is the famous LT4 we can find inside of a Camaro ZL1 or inside of a Corvette Z06. This is one of my favorite engines. I love this engine. Plenty of power, plenty of torque, and we've got some improvement for this engine. If you've been following the evolution of Cadillac, that might be a surprise to see the LT4, even if the CTS-V used the LT4. A lot of you were expecting to see the V8 Blackwing inside of the Blackwing, and it's not the case. The V8 Blackwing was a V8 twin turbo. This V8 Blackwing, we could find it in the Ct6v. I think GM is not using this engine anymore. I'm pretty glad they're not using that Blackwing. The LT4 is just a beast, and we've got a lot of aftermarket parts for the LT4. So that's pretty cool. That's a good move, you know. If we're looking at the engine for the Ct4v Blackwing, we can find a 3.6 liter twin turbo V6. Good for 472 horsepower and 445 foot-pounds of torque. Again, a little bit more powerful than the ATS-V. We've got some improvement on this side. So not a big surprise for these two engines. I'm pretty glad, you know, they're just doing what they were doing before, just improve these engine. We've got some proof, you know, the LT4, it's a powerful engine, and also the V6 for the size of it's pretty powerful. This engine's got a lot of punch. So if we're looking at the performance for the Ct5v, we can expect a top speed over 200 miles an hour. That's 320 kilometers an hour. That's pretty fast. 0 to 60 is 3.7 seconds with the automatic transmission. This Ct5v Blackwing is the most powerful Cadillac ever. Big statement right there, some big performance. Just by the numbers right there, this thing can compete with the Germans. On the Ct4v Blackwing side, on the performance, we can expect a top speed of 189 miles an hour and a 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds, again with the automatic transmission. Cadillac is claiming this is the most powerful and fastest Cadillac in the subcompact class. So we can expect this gonna be competing up against the Audi RS3 and stuff like that. So really like a pocket rocket, you know, luxury style. I really enjoyed driving the Ct4V, the normal V version. So for the Ct5v, we've got some improvement for the engine compared to the CTS-V or the ZL1 or the Corvette. So this engine's been tweaked out, I could say. We've got some improvement on the air intake airflow. It's improved by 46% compared to the CT5v. And also on the top of the engine, we've got a compact high output 1.7 liter 4-lobe E10 supercharger. With these smaller rotors, CADILLAC is claiming you're able to generate a boost at earlier in the RPM band. So we've got more response on the throttle. We've got also some modification to the cylinder heads. They're now in aluminum. We've got some titanium intake valve. And this car, basically, it's more track capable. We've got some wet sub oiling, vent system, external oil separator, and all that. All these parts are there to really take the abuse on the track. That's pretty much the case for also the V6 3.6 twin turbo we find in the Ct4-V Blackwing. Again, more airflow. It's improved by 39% versus the ATS-V. We've got some changes in the engine. Turbocharger, titanium connecting rod, piston oil skirter, a new manifold. Again, you know, it's all about the abuse on the track, so you can really use your CADILLAC V Blackwing on a daily basis and use it on a track on the weekend. But the big story here is these two models come standard with a manual transmission, a 6-speed manual from Tremec with rev match. This is pretty awesome. If you ever drove a Camaro 1LE, even if it's an SS or a ZL1, just having these rev match is a lot of fun. If shifting your gears with a manual in the clutch is not your thing, you'll still be able to get the automatic transmission. You get the 10-speed transmission. Again, this 10-speed transmission works great on the track. I drove the ZL1 1LE with the 10-speed automatic, and it was just a lot of fun shifting a lot of gears all the time with that 10-speed. So for me, kudos to CADILLAC to save the manual, I could say. And also, if you drive this automatic, just shifting those gears, you feel inside of a video game. So it's a big thumbs up for me. Suspension wise, for both Blackwing models, we can get the magnetic ride control 4.0. This is one of the best suspension on the market. Especially, you know, here in Canada, when you want to really play with your suspension. Sometimes you're on a really nice road, sometimes you're on a rougher road. I think having a magnetic ride control, it's one of the best suspension you can have on a daily basis, and especially if you want to bring it to the track. So you can have a comfortable ride, and also you can have a really hard ride when you're using it at the track. Design wise, if we're looking at the Ct4-V Blackwing, we got a really aggressive front end. We've got a splitter in the front, and we have also those like a duck splitter on the side to have more downforce in the front. We've got a lot of carbon fiber touch. We've got also a spatial hood. It's more muscular, it's more like a crawl hood, more muscular. It's really good looking. My favorite part on this Ct4-V Blackwing, it's really the rear spoiler. We've got a really nice, aggressive, long duck spoiler, really following the lines of the car, and this will improve also the downforce. I think, you know, you've got a big spoiler, but it really follows the lines. It's really clean. It looks luxurious also. It's not like funky track spoiler. I really like that. Inside, we've got some racing seats. We've got some nice finish also in suede and all that. We got our little line on the steering wheel also. Because it's a track car, it's a Ct4-V Blackwing. Now, if we take a look at the Ct5v Blackwing, similar to the Ct4-V, we got a lot of carbon fiber touch in the front and also in the back. We've got a nice aggressive splitter in the front. Again, a hood is going to be like more like a crawl hood to make some space for this LT4 also. We've got a duck spoiler in the back, all in carbon fiber. What's pretty cool about the Ct5v, it's really the seats. The rear of the seats are all in carbon fiber, lightweight and all that. I think these seats look awesome. They're really nice. And you know, these image and also these photos doesn't really speak, you know, for really the modification of the Ct4-V. When you really look closely, you can notice these CT5V are a little bit wider. They're more aggressive also. The hood doesn't look more muscular, but I'm sure in person you're gonna be able to notice this is a Blackwing. Something I noticed about the design, there's no Blackwing logo, so you really have to know what you're looking at. If you're not into cars, you're not gonna find a Blackwing. Well, that might change with the future, but you know, I was expecting at least something small saying Blackwing. So obviously these Blackwing models are ready for a track, so we can find some big brakes from Brembo, 6-piston in the front and also 4-piston in the back. Also available on the Ct5v Blackwing lightweight carbon ceramic brake package. So really like track ready brakes. These options are all stuff you could find on Corvette. I know during their launch, Cadillac were all like, oh, the story of Cadillac, their heritage of racing and all that. But for my point of view, it's a GM products, and a lot of things we can find on these Cadillacs are, you know, really Chevrolet stuff. I know it's not fancy Cadillac and all that, but for my point of view, if you're a GM guy, if you know you're a GM, you can really notice these parts are borrowed from the ZL1 1LE or the Corvette. And it's not a down point, it's a big plus from my point of view. You know, the Camaro and the Corvette program are big racing programs. They spend a lot of money on, you know, technology and development and all that. And I think it's a big plus for Cadillac having access to all these parts. I know Cadillac like to stay fancy and not talk about the Chevrolet products, but from my point of view, it's a big plus, especially if you're in the aftermarket, you know, business and you like to modify your cars. It's always a big plus. And you know, these Ct4V and Ct5V are based on the Alpha platform, and what we can find on the Alpha platform also is the Camaro. So I think you know, GM had a lot of experience developing this platform on the track with the Camaro ZL1. I think what Cadillac is doing is, you know, taking all these, you know, improvement and development from the Camaro and really apply it to these cars. So from my point of view, and it's not a down point, again, these new Ct5Vs are really a 4-door Camaro, but in a fancy shell, and for me, it's just awesome. So price-wise for the Ct4V, the base price is gonna be just under 60,000 US, and for the Ct5V, just under 85,000 US. If we're looking at the Canadian price, there's not a big difference for the price in Canadian. It's Ct4V 65,000. And for the Ct5v Blackwing, it starts around 88,000 Canadian. So not a big gap between Canadian and US. Maybe it's cheaper for the US to buy it in Canada, but I'm not sure about that. So that's the price I've got from Cadillac Canada. So these cars are available to reservation right now. I could say you could reserve your Blackwing. They're going to be limited at 250 units, something like that. Not sure exactly how many units, and you can expect deliveries of these Black Series later this summer. So let me know what you think about these new V Blackwing. I'm pretty excited to you know, drive them and try them, especially if I have the chance to drive them on the track. I think they're a real threat to the Germans. So let me know if you think the German cars are still at the top of the food chain, or Cadillac are just a new big wolf with more power. So don't forget to like and share my video, and we're gonna see each other on the next reviews or news.